So, lockdown's over. Or is it? As of the 4th of July, Boris Johnson and his government began easing lockdown measures. They've made a couple of changes, and some of those all-important changes include, from the 13th of July, close contact services like nail bars and tanning booths and massage parlors, they're equally going to open. And the one we've all been waiting for, from the 25th of July, indoor leisure experiences like gyms and dance studios and swimming pools, they are also opening, albeit subject to evidence about COVID deaths and transmission rates. Now, all of this is probably making you think lockdown is well and truly over. And I get that. I mean, if you look at these guys, it definitely looks that way.
We've really stuck to the social distancing guidelines. We've used hand sanitizer. It's been quite safe.
If you're living on your own and you've been without seeing people and you're going to a pub, it's important.
However, if you take a look at the 239 experts who signed an open letter to the New York Times claiming that the coronavirus may actually be airborne, I think you can tell we're not done at all. They're urging for caution. These experts are saying the governments across the world are moving far too quickly, putting the economy first and sacrificing the general health of the public. Now, Professor Chris Whitley, who is the chief medical officer in England, let us know that there is no risk-free step as we begin to ease lockdown. Sam Crow, who is the director of public health in Dorset, went a step further, letting us know that as we open up, it's very important to remember that we're still living with a live and very deadly virus. So, if this is true, why are we still seeing images like this and seeing people partying? Well, maybe, and one guess I might give, is because of the confusing government messaging.
We said that you should work from home if you can and only go to work if you must. We now need to stress that anyone who can't work from home, for instance, those in construction or manufacturing, should be actively encouraged to go to work, and we want it to be safe for you to get to work. So you should avoid public transport if at all possible, because we must and will maintain social distancing, and capacity will therefore be limited.
I mean, who remembers when lockdown first began and we got that very dramatic press briefing or video rather from Boris Johnson telling us that we must all stay at home? I mean, if you forgot, here's a reminder.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home, because the critical thing we must do to stop the disease spreading between households. That is why people will only be allowed to leave their home for the following very limited purposes. Shopping for basic necessities as infrequently as possible. One form of exercise a day, for example, a run, walk or cycle, alone or with members of your household. Any medical need to provide care or to help a vulnerable person. And travelling to and from work, but only where this is absolutely necessary and cannot be done from home.
Now, that was probably when messaging was at its clearest. Since then, we've had a mixture of mixed messages. Stay at home, go out if necessary, help us fire up the engine. It's been quite confusing. Why then is the government confusing us? Well, here are some reasons they may be doing so. The first thing is, if Rishi Sunak's £30 billion mini budget is anything to go by, the UK economy is in trouble. Forecasters are predicting we are about to enter the deepest recession we've had since 1930. This is serious news. How do I know this? Well, Michael Gove was in the news just 4 times over the past 5 days, telling people to go out and work.
Just to get some clarity, on Friday, the Prime Minister said that people should go back to work if you can. So, can you clarify for us, should people be working from home if they can, or should they be going back to the office now?
We want to see more people back at work, on the shop floor, in the office, wherever they can be. Of course, in some cases it's appropriate and convenient for people to work from home, but we want to make sure that where people can add value, where the economy can benefit from people being at work, that they are at work.
I mean, this seems quite different to the stay-at-home message we used to get. Now we are actively being encouraged to go out to work. This is a change, no? But you know, whilst we're getting this, we're getting a different narrative about PPE equipment and the importance of staying at home to look after and to shield loved ones. The second reason is because the government may be trying to change who's responsible. Over the past few weeks, we've seen flare-ups of COVID-19 cases in places like Leicester and this place I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, in Wales. We are seeing a disparity here. A narrative we're being told by the easing of the lockdown measures is that it's safe and secure to go out, but these local flare-ups are still happening. So who do we blame when something like Leicester happens? Well, we blame the people. We say, well, perhaps the people ought to pay closer attention or to heed government advice. But how can they heed government advice when the messaging itself is confusing? Ergo the plan. If we send out lots of mixed signals, then the public don't know what to do. And ultimately, if we see a spike or a second wave like we're seeing around the world, you cannot blame the government. You blame the people who were not listening. So, since the government expects us to use our common sense, now more than ever, it's important that you are clued up, that you follow the most recent advice by health professionals, but also you remember that the virus is still very much active and still as lethal as before. In fact, as we get closer to those winter months, there's a higher chance you might catch something. So it's very important to stay alert, to stay aware, because we don't really know what's coming next. Hey, thank you for taking time to watch that video. Here at the Commentators Network, we thrive on exposing you to different ideas. If you're someone who likes ideas, you like learning new things, hit the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you're first to hear when we have a new video out.